it's David Bain with Bain Residential and Keller Williams. I've got my friend Michael Winningham here with RubyAnne Designs. He's a builder, and he has thankfully agreed to a few minutes of his time to ask him some questions and learn more about the building process here in Austin and his business specifically, and then just kind of what we're seeing in the market today. So welcome, Michael, and thanks for participating and being on Zoom with us today. Michael, tell us a little bit about your services, your company.
Yeah.
RubyAnne Designs, but what else?
Yeah. Yeah. So I started RubyAnne Designs about 10 years ago. I was working for Branson Fustus with Pilgrim Building, who's a custom home builder, building really high quality, just custom homes in Austin. I was really influenced by him. There was always like kind of a design spark with me. I wanted to do something in the world of design and home construction. So I kind of got in with design purposes, and then I was asked to general contract for a friend of a friend, and so I did one project. And then just like all small businesses, one thing leads to another, and you set out to do one thing and you end up doing another.
Tell us about the process and the benefits of being able to go in and design it, but then actually also be the GC on the project and run it all the way through. And then how do you overcome some of the hurdles with being the designer, but not the architect? And because, there are some requirements around engineering and architecture that need to be addressed. And I know the answer to this, but why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so part of my infrastructure is actually working with architects on these designs. So it's a great way for me to move forward with design, but also, having another set of eyes looking over me as I do it. So I can design, and I can work with, architects that I often work with throughout the year, and still provide the same services essentially. And so I think where I make the most sense is kind of in that niche that I was describing, where you're looking to add on that master bedroom and bathroom, redo your kitchen, remodel the house, maybe an ADU with some remodeling in your house. That's kind of where I start making the most sense.
So on that note, I'm sure you've had some pretty crazy, design suggestions or wild things that a client maybe once incorporated into a new home or a remodel or something like that. And you're just looking at it saying the city's never going to go for this, or architecturally it's not going to work, or engineering wise. What's something crazy that you've got to have that conversation with a client about?
That's a good one. I mean, by and large, I like crazy ideas. I can remember an instance where a client wanted to water jet a rose into their metal paneling on the front of their house. And it was like, it looked terrible. I mean, aesthetically, I thought it was like the worst idea ever. And I kept thinking to myself, what is wrong with this person wanting this on the front of their house forever? And it's going to cost so much money to do. And, we didn't do it. It cost too much money. But, wild ideas are fun. I'm all
so,
for
what's
it.
the design process for you when you first sit down with a client?
The first one is kind of like what I did with you and Shelly. It's just kind of like spill on me,
Right.
Tell me everything. Like, let me walk around your house with you, and just like tell me it all, and then also like show me photos, because oftentimes I'll start a Pinterest board with a client, so that if they don't have the vocabulary to describe what they want, they can always point to a photo. They can always point to an image and say, that's the thing I want. That's the kind of door I'm talking about. That's the kind of bathtub setup I'm talking about. And photos are just so helpful. Somebody can sit at their Pinterest, and just tag a bunch of stuff. And as soon as they're done with that and they send it to me, I have an immediate idea of their style, their personality, some different things they're considering, um, areas that they're focusing on. If I see a bunch of, flooring pictures or kitchen photos, I know
Yeah.
what's important to them. It's just, I think pictures can go a long way. And then, we can kind of like work on the vocabulary as we go.
Yeah, that's actually very similar to the way, you know, we handle it. It's you go in, and especially if I'm working with an out-of-state client or whatever, and they're not going to buy for another 5 months or 6 months.
Right.
And I know that everything I'm about to show them is going to be off the market. But here, here's what I've identified so far based on our initial conversations. Just let me know what aspects out of these homes you like, so that it gives me an idea of what to look for as we get closer to your actual time that you're going to be buying. And the Pinterest board is great because you can communicate back and forth. You can drop it in there, and you don't have to constantly be picking up the phone. And if
and I'm
you
sure,
just check your app and see what they've been putting there. It's a great way to design it, and then also it's a great way to say, all right, yeah, we can do that. It's going to change your budget, but we can find that for you. So you get to have that conversation too.
Well, yeah, and you get them kind of into the conversation of balancing the budget with you. And and I'm sure like you too, you identify a lot of times you're dealing with couples, and you're identifying the things that are important to one person or the other. It's like, oh, that bathtub is non-negotiable. Got it. It's his bathtub or her bathtub. And that is never going away. It is going to be on here till the end, right? Or maybe in your case, it's like big backyard. It's got to be a big backyard, or the kitchen's got to be ready to go, or whatever it is. You identify.
Yeah, they're the must-haves.
You're the must-haves.
It's making sure that for us, we've got a process of going through, and it's like sit down and answer these questions together, or we can all do it together. But everybody involved is going to answer the question, because we find a lot of times she really wants this and he really wants that, or he and he want this and that, or whatever the situation is. They're not always like this. And so you get to spend some time bringing them together and say, okay, well, look, these two things don't jive. Let's have a bigger conversation about that, so that we can go in and we can use our time and your time and money and everything else efficiently and effectively and get the best result. So in the market now, what are you, I mean, obviously we're in this new quarantine thing, but I mean, regardless of that, well, I guess a little bit on that, but where were you seeing the market before 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, from your side of the business? And then how's it affected? How are we doing now with it in terms of your ability to work and that sort of thing, and Austin lifting its regs? And then where do you think we're heading from a designer builder perspective? I know from a realtor's perspective, I think we're going to see a huge amount of pinup buyer demand, and we're still going to be low on inventory, and prices are still going to be driven up. And especially in the starter and mid-tier aspects. What are you feeling these days from a builder and designer?
But I still felt like inventory was a little bit low before all of this hit. I thought it was a challenge finding the right property to develop. I mean, if you found a good one, a lot of times you were dealing with a lot of competition, which is fine. Competitive means it's a thriving market, right? So that's really good. I also think Code Next kind of put everybody in a little bit of a standstill. No one knew where that was going, and no one still does know where that was going. So that's a little tricky, buying a property and not knowing what the zoning is going to be.
Yeah.
Or basing it on projections of what it should be. I mean, that's a little bit tough. But it was a thriving market for sure, and I think that it still is, because it's relative, right? I mean, if I think about even 2008, we've got to weather the storm for a little while, but we're in Austin, Texas. We have certain infrastructure that's just not going away here. Things will change, but I think it'll be relative to the rest of the country. And in Austin, I think it will be quite good. I'm under the mentality that while I'm working right now, I'm going to, the governor has made his order, and residential construction is going on. It's a little bit hiccupy, and I'm sure it's going to be that way for at least a month or two. But I'm getting people to concentrate on when the storm passes.
Yeah.
So I think that, once it does, I think we'll be in a good position to get some momentum and start ratcheting up. And
Yeah.
I'd love people to focus on design right now. I think that, and planning and think about what they really want to do when we get back to work in a full-time mode. What do you want to do when we can fully crank on things?
Yeah, because I would imagine a little, for your clients, spending some time now to do the design and the brainstorming for proportionally not much money spent, they can get everything ready and all lined up for, hitting it as soon as they're comfortable again with the market. And that's how I'm positioning it with a lot of my investor clients and my residential more so. But look, let's take this time now. Let's really dig in on what you want. Let's be prepared. We're going to get you pre-approved. We're going to talk to all the lenders. We're going to take care of any roadblocks in your way now. And we're going to do all that work so that you can hopefully get ahead, for me, at least on my side, get ahead of the anticipated tidal wave of buyers that are going to be popping out for still limited inventory in Austin. Well, I've kept you for a long time, and I know you've jumped off to a job site and into your vehicle there to accommodate the request. But so tell us, you have room for clients now. You're accepting design work, GC work. What's your state? How can we help you?
Yeah, design. I think it would be just a great thing to get started for people right now. And if you're in that position of needing that extra square footage, and you want to use the next couple of months to start working towards that, or even an ADU in the back of your property or something like that, this is a great time to do that.
Where can we find some examples of your design work and some of your latest projects and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Head over to RubyAnneDesigns.com. It's RubyAnne Designs.com, and I've got a lot of projects up there on the portfolio.
Well, Michael, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Learned a lot, and it's always good to catch up with you. Are you guys playing town anytime soon? Or I guess nobody is, but you're still playing with the group and everything else, getting ready to get back out there on the road a little bit?
Pretty much. I have a new record, so I'm very excited about that. Not racing to release it in this climate, but I'm excited about the new jam, so it's good.
Well, good. I look forward to hearing it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Get back to work. And
all right, David. Thank you.
We appreciate it. All right.
All right, man. Take care. Talk to you next week.
Yes. Same time. Bye-bye.
See you, man.